We are doing homework about vertex form, and so a couple of the things that we have to remember about graphing in vertex form is the form of the equation. We have f of x equals x minus h squared plus k. Now, when we are graphing, we need vertex and axis of symmetry, which we can take directly from the equation. The vertex is at h comma k, that point, and the axis of symmetry, we're going to abbreviate here, is at x equals h. Alright, so those are the two of the three that we need, and then x-intercepts we're going to get from the calculator. So first we need vertex h comma k. My h is the opposite sign of what I read. Right here it says minus 6, but the minus belongs to the equation. So it's just h is 6, and then k keeps the sign, positive 4. And then my axis of symmetry is x equals, and it matches the x value of the vertex, 6. Then to find my two x-intercepts, I'm going to get my calculator. And in my calculator, let's get this glare off of there. In my calculator, I'm going to enter the equation. Negative x minus 6 squared plus 4. And I can look at the graph, and I can see that it's going to have two x-intercepts, where it touches the x-axis, that are both positive x values. So I'm going to hit second graph and go to the table. And I'm looking for x-intercepts are where y equals 0. So here I have y is 0 when x is 4, and y is 0 when x is 8. So my two x-intercepts are going to be 4, 0, and 8, 0. And that's all I should need to graph my parabola. So vertex at 6, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my vertex. My two x-intercepts at 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and 8, 0. And it's supposed to look like a U. And then I have an axis of symmetry here at x equals 6, and x equals is a vertical line. It goes straight through the middle of my parabola. All right, number two, I have a vertex at hk. Remember, h is the opposite sign, k is the same. So plus 2, except the equation is supposed to be minus, so h is actually negative 2, and k is negative 8. My axis of symmetry, x equals, same as the x of the vertex, negative 2. And I'm going to use my calculator again to get my x-intercepts. So alpha y equals 1 gives me a fraction, 1 over 2. Parentheses x plus 2 squared minus 8. I'm going to look at the graph. All right, it looks like I'm going to have two x-intercepts, one negative and one positive. So I'm going to go to the table, and I'm looking for, oh, there's one. Y is 0 when x is 2. And then I need a negative 1. So y is 0 when x is negative 6. So my two x-intercepts are negative 6, 0, and 2, 0. And now I'm going to graph. Negative 2, negative 8 is my vertex. Negative 6, 0 for one x-intercept, and 2, 0 for the other. And then I connect them to look like a U. And then a vertical line for my axis of symmetry at x equals negative 2. All right, number 3. Number 3, I need a vertex, HK, opposite sign, keep the sign. So, vertex, I'm going to have -1, 1. And my axis of symmetry is x equals the same x as the vertex, -1. Then put it in the calculator. Y equals, I'm going to do x plus 1 squared plus 1. Okay, now what we see here is, does it touch the x-axis at all? No, so I have no x-intercepts. So I'm going to write none. None. All right, but it would be helpful to have 2 more points just so that I can graph. So I have my vertex, I know, is -1, 1, -1, 1. And so I'm just going to use a couple of these points in my table to help me graph. So I'm going to go -1, 1. There's my vertex. Then I can do -2, 2, -3, 5. And then on the other side, I can do 0, 2, and 1, 5. And that shows me where to draw my points. Then in axis of symmetry, x equals is vertical line at -1. All right, last but not least, number 4. Okay, number 4, I need a vertex, H, K. H is the opposite sign, so it's at -4, and K keeps its sign, -2. Axis of symmetry, x equals H, which is the x value of the vertex, -4. And then I'm going to try to find my x-intercepts. In my calculator, y equals x plus 4 squared minus 2. Look at the graph. I'm going to have 2 x-intercepts, both negative. Go to the table. Okay, what I see here is there are no zeros in my y. Okay, I would see a 0 between where y is positive and negative. Somewhere between y value 2 and -1 there should be a 0, and 2 and -1 up here there should be a 0. So what that means is my x-intercepts are between these 2 values. So where it goes from positive to negative, it should be between those x values. So between -6 and -5, and between -3 and -2. And that's exactly how we're going to write it. I have them between -6 and -5, and I have the second one between -3 and -2. And that's going to give me a good enough idea of where the graph is. So -4, -2 is my vertex. Then I'm going to, between -5 and -6, I'm going to estimate where my x-intercept is. And between -2 and -3, I'm going to estimate my second one. And I'm just going to sketch the graph. And then x equals -4 is my vertical axis of symmetry, right down the middle. And that's it. I'm glad you watched the video.